I bid $500, but you know,
I'm prepared to outbid him anyway.
whatever I bid, he's going to outbid me.
I bought about $60,000 worth of eggs.
Yeah.
If you have a portion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, and placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. We regard it as waste, and it actually should be. It should be captured as recycled, and it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody,
Him
It's life
and
for
George Bush.
But no, the best eggs are 60 to 18 years old. Those are the best eggs.
60 to 18-year-olds.
The older your eggs get, the weaker and weaker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So you may not be our top candidate.
No, that's fine. I know it's my business anyway.
In recent years, few criminal cases have captured global attention the way the Jeffrey Epstein investigation has. The case pulled back the curtain on the secret relationships between powerful individuals, wealthy financiers, celebrities, and political figures. As court documents, testimonies, and records slowly became public, people across the world began asking the same question. How did one man manage to move through elite social circles for decades while facing serious accusations? Epstein was a wealthy financier who built connections with influential leaders, scientists, business executives, media personalities, and members of royal families. These connections gave him extraordinary access to powerful environments where reputation and influence often determine who is trusted and who is questioned. When his criminal history eventually became public, many observers wondered how someone already convicted of serious crimes continued interacting with high-profile individuals afterward. Government agencies later released thousands of pages of documents connected to investigations, lawsuits, and testimonies involving Epstein. Inside those files were contact lists, appointment logs, emails, and references to many public figures. Importantly, investigators repeatedly emphasized that appearing in a contact record does not automatically mean wrongdoing. Many names appeared simply because Epstein attempted to build relationships with prominent people for social or business reasons. Still, the repeated presence of well-known figures sparked public curiosity and intense debate online. One name frequently discussed in online conversations is media icon Oprah Winfrey. Some people pointed to references in documents or photographs.
Former dormitory matron charged with abusing 6 students at Oprah Winfrey School for Girls in South Africa is resuming. Prosecutors say former dorm matron Tina Virginia Makopo tried to kiss and fondle the girls. She's also accused of kicking and hitting some of them. Makopo pleaded innocent to 14 charges of indecent assault and criminal injury in South Africa. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, the ex-headmistress of the $40 million school is suing Winfrey for defamation. The suit claims someone would conclude from Winfrey's comments that the school employee knew of the alleged abuse and was actively involved in covering it up.
I was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core.
Winfrey said she was disappointed in the former headmistress. The TV talk show host also made comments about students who felt there was an atmosphere of repression at the school.
And I spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them.
Showing her attending events where Epstein was also present. Others circulated claims suggesting deeper involvement. However, no official investigation or legal proceeding has concluded that Winfrey participated in any criminal activity related to Epstein. Legal experts often remind the public that proximity, shared events, or mention in contact files is not evidence of misconduct. High-profile individuals often attend the same conferences, charity functions, and social gatherings, especially within elite global networks. The public fascination with these associations reflects a larger concern about how powerful individuals interact. When a scandal of Epstein's scale emerges, people naturally begin looking backward, re-examining every connection and photograph for clues. Some observers argue that social prestige allowed Epstein to rebuild his reputation even after earlier legal trouble. According to investigative journalists, he donated money to universities, funded research programs, and cultivated friendships with influential people partly to regain credibility. In high-status environments, endorsements from respected figures can significantly reshape public perception. Around the same time, other controversies involving power
outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay. When you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No. Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty. The bushman lets him out the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. Bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was...
Powerful institutions also surfaced. Several organizations that once accepted Epstein's donations later faced criticism for failing to scrutinize his background more carefully. Universities, charities, and professional networks began reviewing their own policies, acknowledging that reputational influence sometimes allowed wealthy donors to avoid deeper investigation. The discussion expanded beyond Epstein himself and turned into a broader conversation about systems of power. Critics argued that wealth and connections often create protective barriers, making it harder for authorities to hold influential individuals accountable. Supporters of ongoing investigations insisted that transparency, document releases, and public oversight were necessary steps toward rebuilding trust. Social media played a significant role in shaping how people interpreted the unfolding story. As documents became public, online communities began analyzing names, timelines, and email references. While some discussions focused on verified facts, others quickly moved into speculation, rumors, and conspiracy theories that spread faster than official information could be confirmed. Experts warned that mixing verified records with unverified claims could confuse the
Epstein files. It literally shows emails that Jeffrey Epstein was creating designer babies. I really want to know why we haven't heard the DOJ talk about this, especially since some of the survivors said that this happened to them in Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico property, Zorro Ranch. How I found out that he was working with another person to create these designer babies is because I saw him ordering a lot of 23andMe kits, and he was sending them to a lot of different people as gifts. In this email, he was sending some to Woody Allen and his adopted daughter at one point in time, who is now his wife. And I started to see a lot of emails in the Epstein files of people saying that they were pregnant to Jeffrey Epstein, or even alluding that he had actual children. Like this email in 2011 to Jeffrey Epstein, and it appears to be from Sarah Ferguson. And it said, "You have disappeared. I didn't even know you were having a baby. It's so crystal clear to me that you were only friends with me to get to Andrew, and that really hurt me deeply, more than you will know. Congratulations on your baby boy." And this email in 2006 from Glenn Dubin to Jeffrey Epstein: "I get pictures of you flying over Mount Fiji, and I have to find out from Benghazi that you have twin babies. Eva and I are so excited for you. Please send pictures ASAP." And Glenn Dubin says, "Test tube babies, just thinking." Started looking up the term babies in the Epstein files, and this is when I came across this. It was titled "Designer Babies" in August of 2018, and he has it on like an agenda. Then I found this email, and it's from Brian Bishop to Jeffrey Epstein, and it's "Designer Babies / Brian Bishop." So I looked up who Brian Bishop was, because I was like, why are they saying designer babies? And it says Brian Bishop is a software engineer engineer and a biohacker who gained attention for his attempts to fund and advance a do-it-yourself or DIY designer baby project using Bitcoin. His project aimed to utilize the CRISPR gene editing technology to engineer human embryos for enhanced traits, such as increased muscle mass or improved memory. And this is the next email I found about designer babies, and it's from Brian Bishops to Jeffrey Epstein, and it says, here is a deck about my designer baby project. I have talked with Austin again, and we have a series of questions about how serious you are about wanting this, and what are the ground rules for me.
Public and distract from legitimate legal findings. The Epstein case also raised uncomfortable questions about how celebrity culture functions. In entertainment, politics, and finance, high-profile figures often interact within the same exclusive social spaces. Invitations to conferences, private gatherings, charity galas, and investment events frequently place influential individuals together, even when they do not share close relationships. Because of this, investigators must distinguish between casual association and active involvement, a difference that is often lost in public discussion. Another factor fueling public interest is the unusual way Epstein accumulated wealth and influence. Financial analysts and journalists have long debated how he built his fortune and maintained connections with billionaires and global leaders. Some researchers believe his networking abilities were as valuable as his financial operations, allowing him to position himself as a facilitator who introduced powerful people to one another. This role placed him at the center of many social networks, increasing the number of high-profile names that later appeared in investigative records. As new documents continued to emerge, media outlets emphasized an important legal principle. Being mentioned in investigative materials is not proof of wrongdoing. Courts require direct evidence, testimony.
Now, Oprah is limited in the context of the files, but there is clear collusion between Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein. What do you mean? Well, Sarah Ferguson, yes, the Duchess of York, she is involved with Epstein, and she is involved with Oprah. Let's talk about this specifically. Sarah sent Epstein an email saying, I want to make sure you're aware I'm going on Oprah tomorrow, and she is going to ask me about my debts, the entrapment of last year, and the press about you in January. It'll be quick and at the top of this show, all of 10 seconds, a very small piece. However, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this and seek your advice on how you want me to answer. It will be a tiny piece. This is straight up collusion. This is Oprah passing through a message to Epstein. And you know what? Jeffrey responded to Sarah with the answer that he was supposed to give. Jeffrey was unfairly characterized as a pedophile by the tabloid press. Many years ago, Jeffrey pleaded guilty to soliciting underage prostitutes. He paid his debt to society and has sought forgiveness. I have nothing more to say.
And legal findings before determining responsibility. Many individuals whose names appeared in Epstein-related records were never accused of crimes and had only indirect or brief contact with him. Despite these clarifications, public distrust toward powerful institutions remained strong. Many people felt that the case illustrated how wealth and influence could delay accountability. Others argued that the release of records itself demonstrated that investigations were functioning.
If I gun to your head, what do you think your best assessment of what Epstein, who was Epstein, who was he working for?
Well, I don't know, right? So I'm just guessing. Everybody wants to say he was working for the Mossad. He very well could have been. He could have been working for the CIA. He could have been a guy who was on his own, but also working with them, right? Like a guy that they used, but they never fully endorsed.
Like an asset.
Yeah. And a guy who could move money around.
Right.
He definitely...
Good at laundering money.
The moving money around stuff was very weird because he had money through no way that anybody could ever explain.
Yeah.
He had an enormous amount of money through no way that nobody could ever explain. Which, you know, if you're state funded, you're funded by Israel, and Israel's funded by America, and there's also NGOs and nonprofits, and there's ways to move money around where you can give this guy money.
Yeah.
So he was like, Weinstein, who is an economist, right? Weinstein's a legitimate mathematician.
Eric?
Yeah. So when Eric met him, his first inclination was he was a fraud.
He's a construct.
Yeah, a construct. And did he tell you the whole story about the girl sitting on his lap?
Yep.
So Epstein, while he's meeting with Eric Weinstein for the first time, has a beautiful girl sitting on his lap, and a woman, I shouldn't say girl. He said she was like in her 20s, and she's sitting on his lap, and he's bouncing around, so her tits are juggling around. While
he's asking math questions.
Yeah, talking serious. So he was obviously...
And that transparency was gradually increasing. The debate revealed a deep divide between those who believed the system was slowly correcting itself, and those who believed hidden networks of influence still protected certain individuals. The controversy surrounding Epstein's death further intensified speculation. Official reports concluded that he died by suicide while in federal custody, yet security failures at the detention facility led to widespread criticism. Broken cameras, procedural mistakes, and staffing problems fueled public suspicion and opened the door to numerous theories. While multiple investigations reviewed the incident, disagreements over the circumstances continue to influence public opinion. Ultimately, the Epstein case is not only about one individual. It highlights the complicated intersection of power, wealth, celebrity, and accountability. When influential figures interact within exclusive circles, transparency becomes more difficult, and public trust can erode quickly if institutions fail to respond decisively. The ongoing release of documents, court rulings, and investigative journalism continues shaping how the world understands this